Hi guys, I am Vishal Tiwari and I have 6+ years of experience in Oracle database for various DB domains like DB migration, production support, Oracle DBA, and currently working as Oracle database developer. I have taken multiple interviews, so I have enough experience to guide you that can help you to get a new job in the Oracle database field. If you are preparing for the DB interview or you are switching your profile in the database, then you will get more benefits from this video. Today we can discuss most frequently asked SQL queries and questions in interviews. So let's start the session. In this session we are going to cover these topics. If you are appearing as a fresher in the interview, then interviewer will ask you what do you understand by the DBMS and what is the database. Database is the collection of organized data that is structured and stored electronically on a computer system. Here you can focus on the organized data, that is called the database. Then again interviewer will ask you what is the advantage of using database in computers. Then you can tell them and compare with the past eras. In present time it's easy to maintain database in the computer and you can easily manipulate the data and you can store at multiple locations and you can transport the data, and at the crisis time you can easily get the data from another locations. But in the past eras where database can be maintained by the registers and papers, so that is very tough task to maintain the duplicacy. In the register you can find the duplicacy of the data multiple times, and it's not an easy task to store that record for the long term. Next question is, what are the different type of the SQL commands? There are the basically 5 type of the SQL commands which we are using in the Oracle database. One is DQL. DQL stands for the data query language. Second one is DDL. DDL stands for the data definition language. Third one is DML, data manipulation language. Fourth one is TCL, data control language. Fifth one is TCL, transaction control language. Here these are the commands. Select command is considered as DQL commands. If we are making any changes in the table structure or making database structure changes, then we will use DDL commands like create, drop, alter, truncate. These commands considered as DDL commands. In DML we have insert, update, delete commands where we need to update or manipulate the data in a table. Then we use DML commands. Grant and revoke are the DCL commands. DCL commands holds the control on the data flow. In the TCL command we have commit, rollback, save point. These commands considered as TCL commands. TCL commands holds the control on the transaction process. Next question is, what do you understand by the key constant and what different type of the key constants we are using in the Oracle database? So there are various type of the key constants we are using in the database. Key constants basically provide you the data integrity to the data. First one is the not null key constants. If any column we need not null values, then we just define that particular column as not null. Here this is the example and the syntax how we are defining the not null key constant. After the column you can just simply write not null. That will define as not null key column. If you are inserting STUID as null, or you are just leaving blank, then it will not allow to insert that particular record in a table. So next constant is check key constant. Basically, check key constant check your conditions before inserting the record in a table. For example, this is a syntax. Here we are creating the voters table. In the voters table, we have multiple columns like voter ID, first name, last name, age, address, and so on. Here, age column will check if their age is greater than 18 or equals to 18, then it will insert that record in a table. If voter's age is less than 18, then it will not allow you to insert that record in a table. It will throw check key constant violated error. Unique key constant. If we want data uniquely in a particular column, then we need to define unique key constant. Here this is the syntax how we define the unique key constant. After that column you can write unique keyword that will define unique key constant. Here it will not allow you to insert duplicate records in the STUID column. Next one is primary key constant. This is the most expected question and most frequently asked questions: primary key constant and foreign key constant. So you need to focus on these constants. If we need unique data and we do not duplicacy of the data, then we can define particular column as primary key constant. Here we are creating a students table. Here we are defining primary key on the STUID. By the STUID, if we are inserting duplicate record, then it will not allow you to insert. If we are inserting null value, then it will also not allow you to insert that record. So here interviewer will ask you one question: what is the difference between the unique key and primary key constant? Then you can tell them unique key constant allow one null value, but primary key constant not allow you to insert null values. So why unique key constant not allow you to insert second null value? Because null value considered as infinity. So if you are comparing infinity to infinity, then it will no result comes. Then this is the reason why it's not allowing to insert second null value in a unique key constant. Next one is foreign key constant. For defining the foreign key constant, we need two tables. One is parent table, second one is child table. Here this is the syntax how we are defining the foreign key constant. Here we are creating the department table, department name, department ID and department location. These three columns which we are creating in the department. We are considering a department table as primary table. We are creating a next table as employee. We are considering this table as child table. Here we are creating employee table with these columns: employee ID, employee name, address and department number. For the department number, we are referencing this department number to department table. By this way, we are passing the reference for the department numbers from the department table. So you can only insert those departments whose are in the department table. Like if we have 30, 40, 50 departments in the department table, then you can insert only these departments in the employee table. If you are inserting 100 department number in employee table, then you will not allow to insert that record. First you insert department 100 in department table, then you can insert that department in a employee table. So you can practice on your own for the primary key and foreign key constants, and you can learn the syntax for the both key constants. These are the most frequently asked key constants. Here we can discuss most frequently asked SQL queries. How to delete duplicate records from a table. So before deleting any record from a table, you will need to be more careful. If you are 100% sure, then you can run the delete command. Otherwise, you will discard that command. Here, this is the syntax how we are deleting the duplicates records from a table. Next one is how to select all employee details from a table where employee name starts with letter A. So this is the syntax how we are selecting all employee names, where employee name, like in the single quotes you can pass letter A, after that you can pass percentage sign and close the single quote. This will return all the employee names whose are started with the letter A. Next one is how to get the nth number salary from a table. And next, also one question comes in picture, how to get the third max salary and second max salary from a table. So this is the syntax how you can get the nth number salary from a table. So here we are just selecting distinct salary from employee table, and we are passing this employee table and referencing with same table employee with the alias E2. Next question is how to get all records from a table. Those should not present in the employee 1 table. So for this we need to use minus operator to get all the records from the employee table who's not present in the employee 1 table. This is the syntax you can use on your system. So here we have some more bonus questions you can practice as well before entering the exam. Thank you. All the best for your interview.